Hey everybody, thanks so much for stopping by today. This is another episode of Slay a Tray Thursday, and our theme this week is the end of summer. Now I know that probably makes some of you sad. However, for some of us, it makes us so happy, so happy. I cannot tell you, I am not the biggest fan of summer. I don't like the heat. I don't like feeling icky all the time. I don't like having to turn on the air conditioner because then you have to close the windows and then I don't know. I need fresh air in my life. So today's theme, getting back to that, is the end of summer. So I thought that we would do a beach scene. I don't usually do beachy things. I love the beach, don't get me wrong, but I don't usually do beachy things. But I thought we would make an exception today. So I thought we would go with the round tray mold. It's pretty big. I don't know, how big is this? My trusty little ruler. It's 11.5 inches across, so that's pretty awesome. So it's gonna be a pretty good size. I did take a stab at this earlier and I learned a few lessons, so let's work through those together. So I'm gonna put on some gloves. And please go check out the playlist in the description box below. So many great people, Beverly and Laura and Kathy, and I'm not sure who all else is participating this week, but go check them out. They're such amazing artists, so creative. They always have great ideas. I learned so much from them. Okay, so I have already mixed up my resin. I am using this one. Got it from Temu. You can get it from Amazon too if you're, interested. But it was cheaper on Temu, so we went with Temu. And then I've mixed up 10 ounces. So I think this mold takes about 20, but I only want to do it about halfway to start with because then I want to come back in and do some other stuff to it, which will be a surprise for both of us or all of us. Maybe not just both of us. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way to start with. And I'm going to grab some sand. So the first time I did this, I'll just show you. So I started working on this. This was the first time that I did it. This was just kind of like my test piece to see how I felt about it. And there's some things that I liked and some things I didn't like. So I'm working through it. What I didn't like is I didn't like how dark the sand was. I don't know. I like white sand. So I want to do it again and finish it this time, but actually kind of just make it a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to pour some of this sand in a cup, and I don't want it to be completely white. So I am going to throw in some of the darker sand just to kind of break up the color a little bit. I just don't want it to be quite so dark. And then I'll give this a mix and we'll see how we feel about it. So I am just going to start putting this down. And normally we would, the bottom would be the front, and then whatever we're working on here would be the back. But I'm going to do it just the opposite today. I'm going to make it to where that we're working from the bottom up, because there's a few things that I want to do that I feel like I can't do easily if I do it the other way. Okay, so I do want to take, and I want to add just a couple of starfish, maybe a shell or two, but that's all. I don't want to go too crazy. I literally just want it to be less is more. On the last one that I did, it was way too busy. I don't want to do that again. I want it to be just subtle. So I want to put something in the middle, like one seashell. And that's it. How about this pretty one? What do you guys think here? What about this one? This one's really pretty and purple and just kind of colorful. Just kind of lay it down here. Okay. I want to do like 3 color gradients. So I think I'm going to do 3, 2.5, and then the rest. What do you guys think? Because I want more of the light than I do of the dark. 7, 5. Math is hard, you guys. I'm sitting here having to do math in my head. It's really hard. Okay. And you know what? If it's not exactly perfect, that's okay. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Okay. Yeah, I think that's enough for the dark. So we're going to do this one. This is 1 ounce of the dark. And then these two, this is about 2-ish ounces, and this is a little bit over that, like 3.5-ish, something along those lines. Okay, so I know a lot of people, sorry, my bracelets are jangling. I know a lot of people go for blue. I love the green, and this is my very favorite green of all time. Octopus Fluids, this resin ink is so beautiful. So let's go with like 5 or 6 drops to start with. Okay, we'll start with 6, 7, since it seems to want to be cranky today. And then I'm just going to give this a really good mix and hopefully not put my hand in any resin ink that might be hanging out at the table. So are you guys doing anything fun for the end of summer before school starts? I took my daughter to California a few weeks ago for her birthday, which was lovely. We went down and saw the redwoods. That was her idea, not mine. She was super excited about going to see the redwoods. It was all her idea. So we went down, we did that. We went to the beach only once, of all things. We were right on the beach. Our hotel was literally within, like, right across the street was the beach. We went one time because she doesn't like the beach because it's sandy. So I was like, okay, yeah, it was sandy. So she did not love the beach, but we had a really good time. We did a lot of shopping. Honestly, I feel like we could have stayed here and just gone shopping and she would have been just as happy. All right, so we did 6 in that one. Let's do like 10 in this one. And give it a really good mix. I found these cups, so I normally use the 8-ounce cups, right? But then I found that recently I've been mixing up a lot more resin. And so it was such a pain because I had the huge cups that are like 32 ounces. But I was like, I really need something in between, but I was having trouble finding something. And then I just happened to be looking for something else on Amazon, and I found these, and I was so excited because these are what, 20 ounces, 20 ounces. And so they're perfect, absolutely perfect. So, I mean, I mixed up 10 ounces, but still not having to deal with like mixing up 8 ounces and then mixing up 2 more. They're kind of game changing for me. I'm loving them. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so that was 10. And then I do want the top to be relatively dark. So maybe we do 10 again because this is only 1 ounce. Okay, so that was also 10 drops, but a much smaller quantity. Is anybody else ready for back to school? I am, but my kids are definitely not. I am ready for them to go have their brains stimulated for a little bit so they can stop fighting with each other. And also I'm ready for the summer to end because so where we live like an hour and a half outside of Seattle. And where we live is it's all trees and like open fields and things like that. And then there's like one lone housing development out here. And there's I think there's about 2,000 houses out here. And last night there was not a wildfire, but there was a fire in a field that had been burning for a couple of days, like up the road from us. Maybe, I don't know, a few miles. And so we had to evacuate last night because the wind was shifting. But thankfully, right after we evacuated, it started to rain. And it hasn't rained in weeks. So it was a gift. I was really happy about it. So I was like, you know what? Even though it's a pain to evacuate and to deal with that, I was so grateful. Okay. So I just want to kind of give those a little push down. And then let's just kind of start pouring this is our lightest color, I hope. Oh, shoot. I wanted to pour a layer of clear. Oh, well. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So this is our lightest color. Just gonna scrape this out. I think we're gonna use all 10 ounces. I don't think we're gonna have much left over for the rest of the bookmarks, but that's okay. If we don't, we don't. Well, next time we mix up, I'll just add some colors to it. Okay, so there's our lightest color. And then this is our darker color. Although it's really not that much darker, is it? I think I'm going to put a little bit more in there because it's kind of really close to that first color. What do you think? You know, let's just test it really quick. So you can test your color just by dabbing it on like a white paper towel. Those are pretty similar, huh? I think I'm gonna make this one the next lightest, and then I'll make that one the darkest in this, whatever's left in here. I have to tell you, it was a little disconcerting being at home and having the police come and knock on your door saying, you need to evacuate. And you're like, oh my gosh, okay. That's a little scary. Not something that I would ever want to repeat. But where we live is pretty stunning, so I can't complain, but it was a little bit scary. Alrighty, so then let's do this one, like starting down here. And I'm not pouring it in straight lines or anything like that. I want it to be more natural. This is going to be our darkest. Of course, this is going to continue to move. And it's going to do its own thing. So what I want to do is in about an hour or so, I want to come back out and I want to go with the cling film technique. So I'm sure we've all seen that. Claire over at Claire's Crafty Corner does this quite a bit, and it's stunning. So I want to give that a try to kind of mimic some ocean waves, not ocean waves, but like, you know, movement in the ocean. So I want to give that a go. So I'm going to let it set for about an hour. I'll set an alarm for that. And then I'll come back out and we'll put the cling film on and we'll hope for the best. So I want to take this piece of plastic and I want to lay it down in the resin. The idea is that when we pull it up out of the resin, when the resin is cured, that it's going to leave ripples and it's going to kind of give it that oceany vibe. So we're going to give this a go. It's a little bit, it's not quite as thick as I want it to be, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to give this a really good douse with some alcohol before I lay this down. And I'm just going to kind of like start in the middle and let the resin just kind of take the plastic. Yeah, it's a little bit too wet still, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. So it'll be fine. So I put a little bit of alcohol down just to kind of hopefully help with any bubbles that are gonna come up that are gonna invariably get stuck underneath the plastic. And then I'm just gonna take and I'm gonna very gently just kind of push this down, hopefully pushing out any massive bubbles at the same time. So I'm just kind of, you know, gently laying it down and trying to push out any bubbles if there are any large ones. This doesn't have to be perfect, remember? I'm just trying to make some waves, and so I think that's pretty good. I just want to get this pushed down up here around the edge. I do want the waves to crinkle or the water to crinkle all the way up to the edges. So I'm going to leave this to set overnight, and then I'll come back to you tomorrow and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so it's been a very long time because there were minor disasters. So let me show you. So on take 2, this is what it looked like. We put the plastic on, all is well. Do you see up here how it's red? And well, there's giant bubbles, but we could fix those. But do you see how it's red right here? Well, I thought I was being so smart, and I used a piece of plastic that something came in. I don't even know what it was. Apparently, it's Bring Your Plush to Life. So I used this because it's a thicker plastic. It would come off a little bit easier, but it has some red printing on it. And I put the red printing face down into my resin. Well, little did I know that red printing was going to rub off into my resin, and now it is permanently there. So I will make another video on how to fix that and how to make that look better. But for the sake of expediency, because it's been a little bit of a crazy week, I went ahead and reported this. So on my third time, right? They say third time's the charm. I don't know if that's true, but we're gonna go with it. So on this one, I thought, okay, I don't want to use that same plastic, even though I probably could have used the underside, but didn't want to take the chance. So I used a Target bag. Well, Target bags are not shiny. Target bags are matte. So my resin is now matte, which is fine because I'm going to top coat this anyway, so I'm not worried about it. But if I wasn't going to top coat it, it would be problematic, or at least it would have been problematic for me. So, so it's all good. We're going to top coat it. It's fine. Okie doke. So I mixed up 12 ounces. I think that's going to be too much. I'm just going to take and I'm just going to start pouring this in. And I'm going to make sure it does not get inside of our little bottle. I did add the tiniest bit of glitter to the clear resin, but just a little bit, not much at all. And before I fill it all the way up, I do want to hit it with the heat gun, because I see one bubble in particular, just thinking it's like at home. It's just hanging out. I'm like, you don't belong here. I hear my son. I'm hearing mom, mom, mom. Here he comes any second now. Okay, so it's cured. I'm not loving these holes. Okay, so all the edges are cleaned up and it's really cute. I think that jar is super cool. So now we just need to put a message in it. I'm a big proponent of you're enough. No matter what anybody says, or what they do, you're enough. Anyway, so this is kind of my theme, and it's what I tell myself all the time, that you're enough. So I'm going to roll that up, and we're going to put it in our message in the bottle. Okay, there's our message. That's going to do it. Minus these bubbles, minus the bubbles, I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out really good minus the bubbles. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I love the jar. I think the jar is exactly what I had in mind, which I hardly ever am able to say. I feel like it just, for me, it just holds a message that's really important to me. So please check out the other videos down in the description box below this video. They're in the description box. The playlist is listed there. Go click on it, watch the other videos. I can tell you how amazing all of the creators who are in this collab, they're all fantastic, and they're all like good people on top of the fact that they're amazing artists. So go check out their videos, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, and I hope to see you then. Thanks, everybody.